Capital call. These are two words that you don't want to hear as an investor in a real estate deal, a syndication. It's happening more and more today, though, unfortunately, and it's something that you should be aware of if you're getting into these deals that it could happen. It's definitely worth asking the partner, the syndicator, if they've ever gone through a capital call event. So what is a capital call? Basically, it's where the operator, the general partner, comes back to the investors legally and says, hey, we need more money for one reason or another. There's a lot of reasons out there for why they might need more money. It could be just unforeseen expenses like renovations that go over budget, unexpected repairs, capital projects. It could also be market stress, recession, changing financing requirements, or unexpected occupancy drops. There could be operational shortfalls. They've got a management team that's not doing a good job or lower than expected occupancy, which then may result in, cash flow issues, and they just can't cover their debt service. And so there's a lot of different reasons why they could be coming back to use the investor and saying, hey, we need more money. But you should know your options if that does happen. And every PPM is different. So I would definitely go back to your PPM, the private placement memorandum that you signed when you got into this deal, and see what are the requirements for you as the LP in the deal. So typically, every PPM is different. So you should know, but often you might not have to answer the capital call if you just can't do it. You don't want to do it. You don't have to put money into it. That's an option. Maybe if you don't put money in, though, your shares in that property will be diluted. And that's often what I see in these PPMs. And so be aware that your shares may not be worth as much. Often there's a change in capital stack. So basically those that came in and provided some extra funding now receive higher priority than those that did not. So at the end of the day, hopefully everybody gets their preferred return and the splits and makes what was promised to them or told to them at the beginning, but maybe the priority is different. And so they come first to those that injected capital into the property and pay them before they come to you that did not. So keep those things in mind. Ultimately, your principal is at stake in this. If the property goes under and you lose your principal, that's obviously the worst thing to happen, but it's even worse if you injected additional capital into the property to answer that capital call and then the property still doesn't make it. So keep those things in mind. I would also be asking the operator, what's your plan? What is your plan with this money? How are you going to use it to keep the property afloat? I've heard of some bad things happening out there in terms of operators doing capital calls and then not using it in the wisest way. So you want to know what their plan is and if it's going to really work. Ask about their track record. Have they gone through this before? And has it been successful? And so again, your liability is that principal that you put in initially, and then also whatever additional money you put into the property. So just know where it's going, how it's going to be used, look at the PPM, maybe consult an attorney. I think that's a really good idea. Figure out what your legal obligations are, because you definitely have options. So make sure you use those. And most of all, I hope you never go through this. Nobody wants to go through a capital call. So I hope that is not the case for you. And if I can help in any way, reach out.